All right, we are recording. So thank you guys for hopping on. Our topic tonight is how our mindset affects our overall health. And so I'm really excited tonight because we have a special guest joining us to share her expertise on this matter. So I'd like to welcome Tiffany Kerwin, who is a health coach who also specializes in mindset with her clients. Did I get that right, Tiffany?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, awesome. So thank you for being here. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Super excited to talk about one of my favorite topics.
Awesome. I'm so glad because this is definitely not my area of expertise. So we are in a 10-day detox program right now, and we're actually just on day 2 of the 10 days. And what this program is about and focuses in on is a lot about nutrition, just eating wholesome foods, less inflammatory foods, somewhat on food timing. That's kind of part of, eating in certain windows. And then overall just education about staying healthy on and off the program. We talk a lot about, detox. We talk a lot about toxins and the digestive system and moving things out and also learning new habits. But one area that I feel like, is super, super important in all this, and that actually is kind of the glue that puts us all together, is the mindset part. And so while I love talking about this all day, it's not my background and it's not what I'm good at. And so I feel very honored to be able to bring you on to some of your expertise with our group. So with that said, can you tell us how you got started doing what you do?
Yeah, my story is kind of interesting in terms of how I landed into the health coaching side of things. My background is actually in psychology, and psychology is amazing, and it's so telling about how we interact with the world around us and even within ourselves. But one aspect that didn't resonate for me following that as a career was dealing with more negative than positive. And so with the health coaching, I found for myself in particular and my clients, focusing on what we can control and on the positive things gets a lot more results. So I had lived in New Zealand and finished high school and university over there, and I came back to the States knowing that this was absolutely what I wanted to do, was to get into the health and fitness realm. And I started as a personal trainer and married the psychology with it and found really amazing results for my clients, because it wasn't just the physical aspect of it. It wasn't just weight loss. That's only a very, very small portion of this journey, whether you're doing a detox or, you're trying to detox your life from other toxic things that are going on, whether it's relationships or, food or allergies and things like that. So I got into the health coaching aspect of it to really help my clients reach a new level, to be able to do something that was going to be sustainable, to stop the yo-yo dieting, to stop, that backtrack that we always go into of, I tried this, but it didn't work. Why didn't it work? And a lot of time is because we didn't work on our mindset and our behaviors and habits that went along with it. So I found true passion with that. And it's just been mind blowing to see the results that come out of it.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's perfect. That's actually exactly what I feel like is going to help people start to take the tools that they're learning in the program, because we are sharing real, important things about healthy living and how to live on a day-to-day, not just that temporary fix. But if we don't have our mindset right, or if we're not focusing on the good things that are coming out of it, maybe we didn't lose the 10 pounds that we wanted, but we gained other things, I think people will start to see health in this journey in a whole new light. So really,
Absolutely.
really appreciate what you're sharing with us tonight. So, sorry, my screen is going a little wacky. So what can you share with us about how important mindset is when it comes to getting healthier or going through a program? How does it affect people on the day-to-day?
Yeah. So, when it comes to mindset, it's really your secret weapon to your success in anything and everything that you do. It really begins with where your thoughts are forming and what action they're creating out of it. So one of the things I like to do is kind of give the definition of what mindset is. And it's a collection of your thoughts and beliefs that shape your thought habits. And those thought habits affect how you think, what you feel, and what you do. So your mindset impacts how you make sense of the world and how you make sense of you. And that's something that we don't really focus on. We always think that, it's an outside source when it really begins with us. And it's also very, very deeply entwined with our beliefs. And not beliefs necessarily on a spiritual level, but beliefs in terms of, ourselves and our abilities and our expectations of ourselves. And this is where a lot of my clients will get stuck, is that continuous track that goes into our mind, in particular when it comes to things like trying to create a more holistic lifestyle or trying to go through weight loss, where they start to tell themselves they can't do this when it starts to get challenging. So being able to identify what those triggers are is the first key in being able to move forward and getting out of that funk and not going back to it, because you've already identified it. So when it comes up again, you're like, oh, I've been here before. I know what I need to do to get out of it. So instead of it pulling you back, it is sort of, the best analogy is like when you are with a bow and arrow, you have to draw the arrow back before you can really launch yourself forward. And sometimes that's how mindset can work as well.
Wow, that's great. So do you have any, not that I want you to share all your secrets with this, but what would you say to somebody who, so for example, I love having repeat clients in this program. Don't get me wrong. I love working with them. And I feel like it's a really nice thing to have the accountability as a group and people showing up together. But I do see some people who seem to only do good in the program, and then day 11, kind of fall off track because they're not having those outside voices all the time. So would you suggest that kind of person start to work on the mindset piece, or what would you suggest to help them with that?
I say mindset is definitely a part of it, but it's not the only factor. The behaviors and habits are probably the key factors that lie on top of the foundation of mindset. So looking at what the habits that you're doing that have created you to be in the place that you are today. So if you're finding that you have a lot of toxins that are surrounding you, what is it that you're bringing in daily? Have you had a really bad day and you tried really hard to just be good either with your nutrition or your fitness, and you had one thing that gave you a hiccup? A lot of people break down and go, you know what, screw it, I failed, and the rest of the day is just a wash, so I might as well do whatever. When the trick really is to stop yourself and say, okay, I had a bad moment. It's not the end of the world. And honestly, I still have control of the rest of the day. So getting back on point and saying, I'm not going to let this ruin this for me. I'm just going to take back control and I'm going to do the best that I can. So if I had a piece of pizza at lunch when I wasn't supposed to, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to eat really well the rest of the day.
Love it. That's what I'm trying to ingrain into this, is that the guilt or shame is so much more toxic
Yes.
than, anything else. So carrying that around is not going to do you any good. So enjoy it and just let it be, and then get back on the wagon the next round. So exactly. I love that. Awesome. So share with us a little bit more about mindset and what we can do on a day-to-day to really, kind of create that habit of almost like self-forgiveness and yet also getting back into a positive mindset.
Yeah, I think in order to really go through that, there's actually 8 elements I look at when it comes to mindset, but I'm only going to talk about like 3 today that I think are kind of like the most influential. And the first one would be like the law of belief. And so what that says is whatever you believe with feeling becomes our reality. So that if we're wishing to change something in our realities, we have to change our beliefs about ourselves in relation to that. So that being said, is taking a moment to write down the top 3 beliefs that you might have surrounding, your health. And then thinking, are they positive thoughts or are they negative thoughts? And kind of really sitting with it and see what feelings come up, and then identifying what the truth really is, because our feelings are not facts, right? And that's where we kind of get sidetracked, is we're stuck on our emotions rather than actual facts of what we're doing. So the law of belief is huge, is really taking a moment to kind of really think about what you believe when you're going through this journey of your health. Do you think it's really hard? Do you think it's impossible? Do you think it's doable? Like, what are those things that you're telling yourself? and moving past that and knowing how to identify them when they come up. The other thing would be the law of expectation, right? So we've heard a lot of the times that expectation can be the mother of all failures, is because we can think of one thing, and when it doesn't happen, we are unmotivated and we're dejected and we think that we can't move forward. So really kind of checking in with ourselves as far as what our expectation is and what the reality of it actually is. And then law of concentration is whatever you dwell upon in the conscious mind grows in the subconscious. So that one's huge. This is a big one that a lot of my clients get stuck on, myself included. And that's the thing, is no one is immune to it. And I think it's really important to address that. I'm a health coach, but I even have my own coach, because we all need that extra support. We need that different perspective to get us out of that funk. And what we continue to tell ourselves, whether it's positive or negative, our mind doesn't actually decipher the difference between that, but it just ingrains itself further into our subconscious mind. So then now we're actually acting on it, even though we may not want to. So being able to retrain that mindset to burrow into the subconscious of something that you want positive, so that you're getting the results and the actions that you're looking for. Those would be like my big 3 things to focus on.
Those are great. I mean, especially, they're all important, but especially, like you said, with number 3, that's a huge one. And I myself have a coach that works me through it and works with me on a conscious and subconscious level. And I can tell you that it has changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I react to certain situations, the way if I did have that pizza back in the day, it would be like, man, I have no control. I'm a failure. I'm this, I'm that. What's the point? I might as well just have an ice cream sundae next. I used to have those kinds of conversations with myself all the time. And it is to create that disconnect and on a subconscious level, when you don't even know that it's really happening,
mm-hmm.
It's a game changer for everything in your life, not just your health, but your relationships, your business, everything around you. So that 3 is huge. I think a lot of people don't realize how much weight that has on their day-to-day life.
Absolutely. Yeah, the subconscious part is definitely tricky. One thing I encourage my clients to do is start journaling, or start tracking when an emotion comes up for you that is negative, that kind of you see a pattern that leads you down more destructive paths. The key is being able to identify it. Once you are able to identify it, it's a lot easier to be able to move past it and bring in new habits and behaviors for what you're working on. So, just being able to recognize those self-sabotaging behaviors is just so monumental in whatever you do. Again, whether it's your health, your relationships, your career, any of that, knowing what those triggers are will help you move past them.
That and having someone to work with you on them, because it's not just a matter of talking yourself out of it, right? It's really important.
100%.
Yeah.
Accountability.
Yeah, and to guide you through it, because it's just way too hard for us to figure this all out in our own heads. It's really important to have somebody to guide you through to make those shifts and changes. And it's not going to be perfect, but that's what a coach is there for, right? To help you through that and make those changes. Now, this is great stuff. So the other thing that seems to come up a lot, and I do it myself too, so I'm not immune to any of it, but what would you say to those who have a lot of excuses? What kind of tips can you say around that? My theory is, when it comes to excuses, it doesn't really matter what they are. They kind of all are excuses, right? They kind of have the same definition, but it's also a sign that either 1, you're not ready for something, or 2, you don't really believe that you're worthy of it, of what you actually want to obtain. So what's your thoughts on that?
I love everything that you just said, because it's so true. As when it comes to excuses, it's really just fear that's projecting on you. And you're giving an excuse because you're either fearful to give something up or to move into a territory that's unknown and you don't know what the outcome is going to be. So for a lot of us, there is a control factor, whether you're type A or you're type B personality. We like to have the ability to feel like we're in control of something in our environment. So when we start making those excuses, it's a comfort to be like, I can't do this because whatever the excuse is. And then all of a sudden, subconsciously, your mind's like, okay, cool, I don't have to try. And now our whole body actually reacts to it. We have a hormonal release of kind of like a relief, yet we are then crippled with guilt and shame of, why are we not moving forward? Why do I keep making excuses for myself? So the key to that would be to look at, instead of seeing it as an excuse, what's the fear behind it? What's really, truly holding you back?
I love that. That's really good. I didn't think about it like that, but that's true.
Yeah.
Either that or there's not a deep enough why as to why you really want that thing. You know, some people don't really like, and I'm just using an example in my business team, not necessarily my clients, but it's, I want this, but XYZ is happening constantly. I can't do it. And to me, there's not really an emotional attachment to why you actually want that if you're letting all these things come up. So that's great. So can you share with us maybe a tip or two? I know you mentioned journaling, and I love that. Maybe one more tip that maybe we could use at home on days that are just really, really rough, or our mind just kind of goes to that, you know, record player of, you know, a negative Nelly in our head. Is there anything else that you could suggest that we do at home to kind of break that cycle? Obviously, a coach is something I highly stress and recommend. But let's just say you didn't have access to somebody that day. Anything that you like to do personally?
You know, taking a moment, because I am definitely a type A personality. So my mind is always going. So there are definitely times where it becomes overwhelming that I am now at that point where I can recognize it. So when you can get to that point, take 5 minutes, step outside, get some fresh air, give yourself a few minutes just to be in that moment. Forget about the stress, forget about the anxiety, the overwhelm that's happening, and kind of just realize that in that moment that you're in, nothing bad is happening. The world is not coming to an end. You are able to control it. Right now, you're just hyped up on emotion, and recognize that that's emotion. And again, that's not a fact. And then kind of come back and think, what can I do right now that's going to make me feel more in control, or that's going to make me feel better, that I can actively do? So that could be, you know what, maybe I had a really stressful day and my boss was just on top of me, and I'm an emotional eater and I'm doing a detox program and I just want to go for that ice cream, right? Is just take a moment and realize that's just an emotion. You need to work through that emotion. So whether that's journaling, whether it's doing meditation, just doing a breathing exercise, going for a walk, you know, doing something to temporarily distract you, but don't ignore what's happening. Take a minute to address it, sit on it, and think what you can do to make it better. But the accountability is huge. So if you have an opportunity to later reach out to a friend or have a coach or something like that, we're not designed to be in this life alone. And it's that saying, you know, it takes a village. So to remember that you're not by yourself, but in those moments, take that moment, take that breath, take that walk, whatever it is.
That's so good. That's really good. Yeah, I've been practicing that a little bit more myself. I'll pray or I'll meditate or I'll call on my angels, like, please just help me through this and help me clear this. Just let it go. And it really, as corny as it sounds, I literally will feel better after I say, please just take this. You know, I can't take this. Or I'll go and get in like my family knows me. I go get in a detox bath and it's like, do not talk to me for 1 hour. Like I cannot function. And then after that, it's like, everything just kind of goes down the drain, you know? So important.
to touch on that, the trouble is we're trying to resist that feeling, right? We don't want to succumb to it. And being able to just let go of it and say, I can't do this right now, or I can't handle it. There is no shame in that. There's so much release out of it. So, prayer, meditation, all of that is immensely helpful. I love that you have your own space and everyone kind of knows what that boundary is. So sometimes being able to set boundaries with your family, with your spouse, because you need that time is great. And I commend people who do that. Like, we need to do more of that.
Well, good. I'm glad to know I'm doing some healthy things. Thank you. So share with us, who is your favorite mentor? Do you have a favorite mentor kind of in this mindset space? Like, do you listen to podcasts, or do you have your favorite kind of person that you like to read on or listen to?
I have two people that I'll be honest, I haven't listened to very recently, but Brene Brown is one of those people. I love her. She's so real and authentic, and she just has such a clear message. Because we are wired in society to feel shame and guilt, and she really that's her expertise. So to go and listen to her, and you're like, this is amazing. I am not alone in this. And to be able to kind of pull yourself out of that funk is great. Another person I really love is Simon Sinek. And I don't know if you know who he is, but he has a book called Start With Why. And that's applicable not just to like business, which is what he really primarily focuses on, but almost in every other avenue of your life as well. Is like, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? People are around you because of your why, and they go into that. So between the two of them, I find inspiration through them, and I find more perspective that I didn't have before.
I agree. I haven't listened to Simon, and I will check that out. But Brene Brown, I'm fairly new to. I've seen a lot of her quotes and things, and I really liked it. But I was having a really crappy day one day, and I just needed to like veg out, and I turned on the Netflix, and it just, crap TV. And I don't want to watch people getting murdered. I don't want to catch people having sex. Like, it was just like, right. Oh my gosh, what can I watch? And then I saw her program. I forget what it was called.
On Netflix? Yeah.
I mean, I'm sitting there, kids are walking in, I'm in tears, and I'm just like happy. And it was such a release. It was so powerful. And I highly, highly recommend it if you have Netflix.
Yes.
Just such good messages. And it just was such a good reminder to keep those positive messages in your ear constantly. I feel like we are what we watch and listen to and, surround ourselves with. And so that too can kind of be that record player in your mind. And so it's really important that we're listening to good stuff that really lifts us up. So we'll definitely check out Simon. So, okay, great. So anything else you want to share with us tonight?
I would say, like, when it comes to the mindset portion of it, we have to remember that we're also fighting against the grain of many, many years of old beliefs. And so being able to recognize that, or go back and work through it and kind of sit down with yourself and say, where am I today? What are my belief systems? Where is my mindset most of the time? Am I in a positive frame of mind? Am I in a negative frame of mind? How do I continue in the positive, right? Because we want to move away from the negative. Taking time out, I find it in the morning, and I'm not always consistent with this, and I notice the days that I'm not, is spending anywhere from, if it's 5 minutes to 30 minutes to an hour, whatever you have time for, to really kind of set your day, whether it's setting your intention of how you want it to go, whatever challenges you're facing, give yourself one thing that is positive, that you're grateful for, or that, maybe something that you did really well and you want to brag about it. You don't have to go brag to other people about it, but maybe you have a journal that I call it my brag book. I was able to accomplish this. And so when I'm having those bad days, I can go back to that journal and say, you know what, I'm still here, and I was able to overcome this. And I do have the ability, and I can't let my mindset stop me from it. I've got to, move forward. So having that little bit of time, whatever, like I said, whether it's 5 minutes or an hour, whatever it is, set some time aside for just you, away from distraction, away from the family, the pets, whatever it is. You deserve to be loved, but you deserve to really love yourself.
I love that. So important. Yeah, I say schedule in some lazy time. You've got to do something that makes you feel good and that you have, even if it's 10 minutes, it can make a difference. So
Yeah.
awesome. So we're coming up on 30 minutes. So I will, let me just make sure we're muting folks. Yep, we're good. So how can we learn more about you? How can we learn more about what you do and how maybe you can help some of us with some of these challenges where we try to put 2 steps forward, but we then take 3 steps back? I want to be able to really help people who want to make those leaps and bounds, which I believe all starts with mindset to move forward. And so share with us, how can we learn more about what you do or what you offer?
Yeah, actually what I love to do is really offer your group an exclusive offer for the month of June. Anyone who's interested in doing a 30-day mindset boot camp, the first thing would be for us to just have a call completely free, just kind of get to know who you are, what your challenges are, to see if I can even, if we're going to be a good fit. But I'm really here to help you be the best version of yourself. So starting with a conversation, we can schedule an appointment, we can put a link up on how to do that. And that would really be the best way to do it. And then go from there.
That's awesome. So you're offering your time for free to make sure that it's the right fit to work together. And then they can get a special link or invitation to it's like a mindset boot camp or a detox kind of for the mind. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just basically have, the initial call just to kind of see where you're at. And then I'm just going to offer a 30-day mindset boot camp, which is really going to kind of break down where your challenges are specifically to you. So very one-on-one to kind of get you out of that funk and get you moving forward.
Oh, that's amazing. Awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Great stuff. Well, Tiffany, this has been so helpful for not only myself, but I'm sure the people listening in, and we are going to share the recording tonight. I cannot thank you enough for sharing your wisdom with us. I'm taking away some really good tips for myself that I'd love to implement to just continue to move the needle forward for myself, not only in health, but, again, relationships, business as well. So I'm very, very grateful for this.
Well, thank you. I'm super stoked to be here and for you to have me.
Yeah, no, we're very pleased. So yes, please send me that link if you don't mind, where they can connect in with you to schedule that free call. And we'll post that up for everyone. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Have a wonderful night. Take care, Tiffany.
You too. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.